and welcome those who are joining us as we move into this story, the development of the story of Joseph and his brothers. And so we're going to say the bracha, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. And I'm going to go into
Right.
sharing the screen. But here we are. And I'm hoping I have something, see where we are. Lauren, do you happen to remember where? Okay. Did we stop here at 27? We did explain that. So we could, I'm going to start at 27. So in this, we're catching Joseph as he interprets Pharaoh's dreams to him. He's in the middle of explaining the dreams. So he just explained the 7 fat cows, the healthy cows, and now he is going to explain the other cows. Vesheva haparot harakot v'haraot, and the 7 bad cows, or the skinny cows and the bad looking cows. Ha'olot acharehen, which came up after them out of the Nile. Sheva shanim hema, they're also 7 years. The Sheva hashibolim harekot, and then the 7 ears of grain that were scant. Shtufot hakadim, which were stricken by the east wind. Yiyu Sheva Shnei Ra'av. They're all going to be 7 years of famine. Hu hadavar. This is the thing. Asher dibarti el Paro, of which I spoke to Pharaoh. Asher Elohim oseh, that which God is about to perform. Hira et Paro. He has shown Pharaoh. And remember Rashi's comment on Higid and Hera. There's the Hera there. Hine, Sheva Shanim Ba'ot. Behold, 7 years are coming. Sava Gadol B'chol Eretz Mitzrayim. There will be great abundance throughout the land of Egypt. V'kamu Sheva Shnei Ra'av Acharehen, and 7 years will follow after them of famine. V'nishkach kol hasava, and all the plenty will be forgotten, the Eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Egypt. V'chila hara'av et haaretz, and the famine will destroy the land. Rashi. V'nishkach kol hasava. Hu pitron hablia. That is an interpretation of the swallowing up. Remember, the skinny cows swallowed up the fat cows, and Pharaoh, in editing what he had seen, commenting on what he said it didn't look like anything had happened. They looked just as skinny as before. And that is forgetting just what plenty they had had before. V'lo yivada hasava ba'aretz, and the plenty will not be recognized, not be known in the land, mipnei hara'av hahu acharechen, on account of the famine, of that famine which follows. Ki haved hu me'od, because it'll be literally heavy, it'll be profound. V'lo yivada hasava, and the plenty will not be known. Uh, let's see, Hu pitron velo teda kibao el kibena. That is, so one is that it's swallowed, and then the fact that you can't tell the difference, that's the explanation of that they came, it will not be recognized that those good cows, the heavy cows, the fat cows, came into their midst, were swallowed by them. So one is the actual eating, the consuming, and then there's the fact that the consuming didn't show anything. There was no benefit from it. Just trying to write. V'al hishanot hachalom el paro pa'amayim, And the fact that the dream was repeated to Pharaoh twice, Ki nachon hadavar me'im Elohim, because this matter is established from God, umemaher Elohim lasoto, and God is hurrying up to do it. It's going to happen very soon. Nachon, mezuman, it's designated. God has designated this to happen, has prepared it to happen. There's not a lot of opportunity now to change it. Va'ata, and now, Yere Pharaoh ish navon v'chacham. Let Pharaoh seek out or see to it that there is a person, a man who is understanding and wise. V'shitehu al eretz Mitzrayim, and place him over the land of Egypt. So Joseph is going beyond interpreting the dream. He's now saying, here's going to be the problem. And now he's saying, this is the solution I'm proposing. Ya'aseh Pharaoh, let Pharaoh do this. Vayafked pekidim al haaretz, and he should set up designated people, officers over the land. V'chimesh et eretz Mitzrayim, so as to prepare the land of Egypt. V'sheva shnei hasava, during the 7 years of plenty. So this v'chimesh is sort of interesting because, of course, it sounds like it comes from the word chamesh, which means 5. So, does it mean 1/5 of the produce, etc.? But Rashi says, no, that's actually not where it's going. So he says, ketargumo, he says, just as the Targum translates this word, vayizareis, make ready, prepare, v'chein v'chamushim. Right, there is a phrase that's fairly well known for those who read Torah, and it talks about the Israelites when they were freed from their slavery. It says, v'chamushim alu b'nei Israel. And as Rashi explains that now, it means they were prepared, meaning prepared to enter the land of Israel, I believe. It's referring to armed, that they were armed, ready to do the conquest. Vayikbatsu et kol ochel hashanim hatovot, let them gather up, collect all the food from the good years. Habaot ha'ele, sorry, I broke up the verse too soon. Habaot ha'ele, which these 7 years that are coming, that are ahead of us. Vayitzbaru bar, let them collect the grain. Tachat yad paro, under Pharaoh's hand. Literally, it should be a tax, right? It should come under Pharaoh's control. Ochel be'arim v'shamaru, it'll be food in the land, and they should be guarded. They should be stored in these various cities. Look, Lamed, it called ochel, all the food. So it says ochel. Rashi is commenting now on grammar. So there's ochel, meaning food, and ochel, which means eats. So Shem Davarhu. Ochel is a noun, Shem Davar. It's the name of a thing. Lefichach, and for this reason, Ta'amo Ba'aleph says the accent falls on the Aleph. It's not Ochel, but it's Ochel. The accent falls on the Aleph. V'nakud b'patach katan, and Rashi's reference to vowels is different from our present day way in which we refer to them. And so he talks about patach katan, and I believe he means a cholam, the O sound. Ve'ochel shehu po'al, but ochel, which is a verb, kagon kikol ochel chelev. For example, anyone who consumes fat. Ta'amo lamata, bakaf, the accent falls on the ultimate syllable, and in this case, this ultimate syllable is ochel, venakud kamatz katan. And that, and again, what he refers to as a kamatz katan isn't what we refer to as a kamatz katan. And it's what he's referring to, I believe, is a tseirei, what we call a tseirei. Tachad yad paro, again, the word hand has the connotation of control. So, birshuto uve otsarotav. It should be under um, it's his control, I'll say, uve otsarotav, and in his storehouses, in his silos. V'haya ha'ochel lefikadon la'aretz. Uh, and this food will be a trying to think of the right word here, a deposit. That's what would be a picadon for the land. The Sheva Shnei Hara'av, for the 7 years of famine, Asher Tiyena Be'eretz Mitzrayim, which are going to come, which are going to be in the land of Egypt, the Lord Ticharet Ha'aretz Bera'av, so that the land not be destroyed through the famine. V'haya ha'ochel, and the food should be hatzabur that is collected, kishar pikadon, like other kinds of deposits, haganuz lekiyum haaretz, which is stored away for the establishment of the land. Vayitav hadavar be'enei Pharaoh, and this matter appeared very good in Pharaoh's eyes. In other words, to put it in simple English, Pharaoh liked what he was hearing. Uve'enei kol avadav, and in the eyes of all his servants. So everyone around listened to what Joseph had just told them and were pretty impressed. No Rashi on that. Vayomer Paro, and Pharaoh said, El Avadav, to his servants, Hanimtza Kazeh, can there be found like this, Ish Asher, a man, Asher Ruach Elohim Bo, in which the Spirit of God resides?
He's a little slow, isn't he?
What do you mean?
Because Joseph already demonstrated that he was that man.
Well, no, that's the point. That's the expression that he's using.
I know.
Like have you ever found someone as smart as this guy?
Oh, okay. So it's a rhetorical question. He's not saying where will we find someone like that. He's just, it's rhetorical. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, look at the context, right? Right. He's saying this guy's amazing. Right. It's just a way of saying.
JPS said could.
Yes.
Could we find another like him?
Yes.
And Chabad says will we find, but it
Yes.
doesn't matter. But it says, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even as it's rhetorical, he's referring to.
Right.
Yeah.
So Hanimtza Kazeh, Rashi quotes, I believe, the Targum, Hanishkach Kadein, who can be found like this one. Im nelech v'nevakshenu hanimtza kamohu. If we were to go and seek out such a person, would we find anyone like him? Hanimtza lashon tmiha. Ha nimtza. That hey at the beginning of nimtza is an interrogative hey. V'chein kol hey mishameshet barosh teva, and every hey that is serving at the beginning of a word, v'nekuda v'chataf patach. And again, Rashi's reference to vowel signs and is pointed with a chataf patach. So let's take a look at how he says it. Actually, this is called a chataf patach. So generally, there's another hey that serves as a definite article, correct?
Mhm.
Ashulchan. That is pointed with a patach and a dagesh in the letter following, and then follows all the rules that happen when you have exceptional situations. That is a He HaShelah. But the He HaYedi'ah, right? But the He HaShe'elah, the interrogative He, is pointed like this. So for sure, it's interrogative. And in this case, he's being rhetorical. And we are on to the third aliyah. Vayomer Paro el Yosef. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Acharei hodia Elohim otcha et kol zot. And I think what this would mean is, the way I'd want to translate it is, since God has informed you of all this. And what I find beautiful about it, honestly, is, as I mentioned in earlier sessions, in this entire story, we don't ever find God speaking to anybody. The only time we do is finally when God tells Jacob to go down to Egypt. But otherwise, we don't read about God. And yet, even Pharaoh is understanding. They are aware of a transcendent level of existence. So, of course, Pharaoh isn't Jewish, but he recognizes the divine element in the world. And it's a recognition of the fact that if we think, the idea is we didn't just create this. It doesn't stop there, but to be able to recognize that there is some force out there that makes it possible for us to think. That there is this sense of wonder and appreciation and awareness. And and people, of course, now the culture is such that we attribute to ourselves all our intelligence. And here in this narrative, Pharaoh is recognizing, and Joseph, of course, says it quite explicitly, the people who are talented, they didn't give themselves their own talent. Yes, it's for them to develop their talent, but we come with various abilities, and some of them are very hard to explain why we have them. So it's a profound sort of point of view in terms of how we look at the world and how we accept the world. Let me make sure I'm not leaving out any Rashis. Yes. Uh,
Did you finish translating the text?
I believe I did right
Okay.
there.
Well, you said
There is no one as wise, as understanding and wise as you. And maybe I didn't finish doing that.
and you kind of said it. I don't think you, and that's what the Rashi's about.
Right. So let's take a look. Yes. Right. Good. Ein navon v'chacham kamocha, levakesh ish navon v'chacham, to seek out. In other words, he's saying to remember, Joseph has said, you need to go and find a really smart person to take care of this. And Pharaoh is saying, there's no one smarter than you. You're the smart person.
And
There
Joseph
isn't
said,
anyone,
duh.
you're not going to find anyone smarter. So this is the way Rashi puts it. Levakesh ish navon, so that we to go out and seek a man, navon v'chacham, who is understanding and wise. She'amarta, that you referred to. Lo nimtza kamocha, we're not going to find anyone as good as you. I don't know if that's an example of biblical humor. I don't know. Anyway. Atati alveti, you are the one who will be over my house. The alpicha yishak kol ami, and according to your mouth, my people will be provided. They will have provision, something like that. So we have that Ben Meshek Eliezer. So he is Eliezer, the servant of Abraham, right? He's the one who sort of makes sure that I can't think of the word that you use to to describe the position of such a person. Rak hakise egdal mimeka.
Maybe
Only,
that's steward.
yeah, thank you. Thanks. Shirabeth, that's the word. Only with regards to the throne will I be greater than you. Anything other than being the one who is chief in command, everything else is under your control. Uh, there we go. See, Rashi needs to explain this word yishak. Yitzan will be fed. Yitparnes, again, will be provided. That we call parnasa income. Kol tzorchei ami, all the needs of my people. You nesim al yadcha will be done through you. Kamor, and he says, there we go. Uven meshek beiti. That's that Genesis chapters 16, chapter 15, referring to Eliezer, servant of Abraham, my steward. V'chomor, and in Psalm 2, Nashku bar. Okay. So provide yourselves. Bar usually means rain, and I know I looked this up when I prepared this.
It says purity here.
Oh, thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes. Provide yourselves with purity. Thank you. And here it is. Looks like gargison in French.
Garni.
Garnison.
Garnison, yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Garnison. So a garnish, huh? Do we have that word in English? And it says verzorgen, provide for, verzennen, to see to.
But it's interesting that the nashku and in Chabad it says arm yourselves with purity, but nashku to me sounds like kiss yourselves.
I know. So there may be some reference to the fact that both kissing and battle before guns were invented involved close up, touching and stuff like that.
Contact, yeah.
Yeah, so it may have something to do with that.
Contact sport.
Yes.
And then there's the word shuk, the marketplace. I wonder if that's connected here.
I wonder. Yeah. Shuk almost sounds like a foreign word, but yeah, I think you make a very good point. That's interesting.
You could be the place of contact that merchants have with customers.
That's where I think it's coming from. Right. That's what I think Shira Beth was alluding to. Rak hakisei, only with regard to the throne. Sheyu korin li melech. That is to say, they will call me the king. Kisei, the word kisei, chair, right, or throne. Lashon shel hamelucha. That has the connotation of royalty. Kamor, as it says, Vayigdal et kiso mikisei Adoni Hamelach, and this is I believe when David is dying and he has to set up Solomon. Remember, there's that whole attempt by Adoniah to overlook Solomon and for him to take over the kingdom, and as David is dying, and King David had already promised that Solomon would be his successor, and they're referring to Solomon, that his monarchy, right, that his monarchy will be greater from the monarchy of my servant, the king, which sounds strange in a way, but to be told that your child will actually supersede you is not exactly a curse. So what is being said here to King David is that his son Solomon will succeed even beyond where David succeeded, as far as the royalty, the kingdom is concerned, in the kingship. And there's some hope, I think, involved in that. Vayomer Paro el Yosef, Pharaoh additionally said to Joseph, Re'eh, see, natati otcha al kol eretz Mitzrayim. I have placed you over the entire land of Egypt. That is one quick promotion.
From jail to
I know, isn't that
second to the king.
right? But that again, that is how God can operate. You know, things can change in a dime. People's fortunes can change overnight.
Maybe some people will go from king to jail if we're lucky.
There's a story when I was up in Minnesota. There's there was an earlier skyscraper, so to speak, called the Fauché Tower. I'm sure Shira Beth remembers it. And
Sure.
the top of the Fauché Tower apparently had this room that was incredible, like with oak paneling and all this kind of luxury. And the person, I guess his name was Fauché, I'm going to guess, you know, was going to have a big party to inaugurate his, you know, this building he had created. And the very night following, the stock market crumbled, crashed, and he was basically penniless. It's at least as I remember the story of the Fauché Tower. Natati orcha, I have placed you. Maniti yatach. So again, the Aramaic, and this is, you know, I have placed you, but maniti lim is, that has the sort of meaning of appointing rather than placing. I have appointed you. Uh, Take a look. The afal pichein, but even though there's this difference in translation here, he says, nevertheless, lashon netinahu, it is still the language of placing, kamo uletitcha elyon, and to place you supreme, bein ligdula, and it refers to whether or not it is to greatness, Lauren, as you were saying, bein lishfeilut or shiflut, or whether it is to be demoted. Nofel lashon netina. The language, using the language of place or set, alav, it works with it. The more, and he gives an example, as an example where this word natati doesn't only refer to promote, it can also mean demote. I have made you, I've placed you, nevazim, scorned, ushvalim, or shvalim, and lowly. So it's,
I,
yes, go ahead.
I was just saying I like the Rashi before this that referenced Solomon
Yes,
in a sense, because Solomon and Joseph both were wise
yes,
and took over and did well, you know, through their wisdom.
right. I'm going to stop. This is a good place for us to stop here. So we're on to, let's look and see.
42.
Yes. So I'm going to make a little mark here. It's like, well, that's not what I want to do. Try this again. It's going to work. Strange. Hello. No. Okay. It's not gonna. Doesn't look like it's working for me here.
Maybe you didn't grab it good.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got it now.
Okay. Oop. Well,
That's
that's not what I wanted.
it'll work though. I mean,
Yes,
it's
it
not
will.
covering up the text.
Yeah. Let's do this. There we go. Let's see what happens there. All right. Good enough. Got a little spot there. And we are back. It's 8 o'clock. I guess I will stop the recording. Just say thank you for those who have joined us and hope you found it interesting.